Mark Rubin says summer is the busiest time of the year.
It's hotter out, it's raining every day.
He is the owner of the Mosquito Authority in South Florida.
There seems to be more and more mosquitoes, more and more calls.
Now the CDC is issuing an advisory after seeing 5 cases of the mosquito-borne illness, malaria.
They signaled the first local spread of the disease in 20 years. Health officials say the cases in Texas and Florida were acquired here in the U.S., not through travel.
That means that we have had malaria spread into the mosquito population here, which means that the risk for getting malaria here in this country is higher than it used to be, and that is really concerning.
Dr. Celine Gounder says mild symptoms may include headache, fever, and muscle aches. Among the potential severe symptoms, changes in mental status, lung and kidney failure.
Severe malaria can be deadly, and it is a medical emergency, so people who have signs and symptoms of malaria should get checked out as quickly as possible.
Martine Edlund is CEO of Malaria No More. He says we're seeing the effects of climate change on health.
Mosquito-borne diseases like malaria and dengue are some of the most climate-sensitive diseases. Even small changes in temperature, rainfall, humidity can lead to these diseases being transmitted in new altitudes and new latitudes.
Prevention is critical. Removing standing water and cover skin with clothing and appropriate repellent. Cristian Benavides, CBS News.
Another mosquito-borne virus to be concerned about is West Nile, and Metro Health has confirmed the virus has been detected in mosquitoes in southeast Nashville. Our Tony Sloan is following this for us from the health department. He joins us live, as you can see. And Tony, people in the area will be notified, but thankfully no one's been infected that we know of so far, right?
Yeah, that's right. The good news is the health department says that there are no human cases that are reported. And they say they've captured the mosquitoes that are trapped near the intersection of Bell Road and Anderson Road. Pest management, they've also revisited the area to set up some additional traps, monitor the area of standing water, and to apply larvicide if mosquito larvae is present. The department made it clear that they do not spray to kill adult mosquitoes. So what can you do to stay safe? The health officials say that you can cut back overgrown vegetation where those mosquitoes can easily hide, reducing or eliminating all standing water in your yard, especially in those children toys, bird baths, clogged gutters, and trash cans. That can make a world of difference. Health officials, they recommend limiting your time outdoors at dusk and night when those mosquitoes are the most present. And if you must be outdoors, they say wear mosquito repellent. That's approved by the CDC. We know it's hot out, but they say long sleeve shirts and those pants, those are the best things to wear to protect the skin and protect you from the West Nile virus.
It's not the apocalypse or even a plague, but it's pretty close.
Oh, sweet baby Lord Jesus. I'm a prisoner in my own home.
Like something out of a Stephen King novel, the summer of creepy crawly is here.
We just stay inside. We don't go outside.
Out west, from Idaho to Utah to Nevada, it's the snap, crackle, and pop of summer 2023. These katydids, also known as Mormon crickets, have exploded with eggs that can lay dormant anywhere between 5 and 11 years, but now have hatched in mass.
They will simply form a tsunami and roll across the landscape, devouring everything in sight. And this is what's underway right now.
The big red bugs are everywhere and eat everything. Their migration's a natural phenomenon, and after a couple of months, they'll mate and die. But for now,
this is a pile of dead Mormon crickets. Yeah, that is absolutely foul.
Squish.
Not to be outdone, from the mid-Atlantic and Northeast to parts of the Midwest, spotted lanternflies, an invasive species, are back. Experts say they're harmless to people and pets, but they do pose a threat to several varieties of trees, orchards, hops, and grapes, and especially threaten the $170 billion U.S. wine industry.
This is going to be a major headache for our grape growers, and fingers crossed they don't get to California and the Napa Valley.
And as this summer of infestations continues, a portion of Broward County, Florida has been placed under quarantine as state officials work to get rid of giant African land snails, which can grow up to 8 inches in length and produce 500 eggs at a time. Beyond their ability to damage hundreds of different crops, the snails can also carry meningitis.
I don't want anybody to get sick, and they do leave a slimy residue behind, so God forbid somebody doesn't know and they touch somewhere where they've been crawling.
Kawana Jones first started seeing the snails at her home months ago and posted these pictures to Facebook.
The very first one that we saw in that tree over there was like literally like your fist.
The state came right away, and she says extracted around 90 snails from the immediate area. A host of unwanted pests nationwide has Americans itching for some relief.
This is disgusting on so many different levels.
I mean, Sam, I don't know if we're ever going to be the same again after we saw that snail. So what can people do to keep bugs like these away from their homes?
Sure. So good question, Savannah. When it concerns lanternflies, the time to act is right now because they lay their eggs in September and October. So what you're going to want to do is get a pest spray technician to come out there and to spray all of your landscaping down. What they can do is actually inject insecticide into the tree. They can also seal the bark. The snails like damp wood and plaster, so you want to stay on top of maintenance around your house. And that fencing and sealing cracks can help to keep out crickets. Now, when it concerns the lanternflies, again, the good news here is that nature does appear to be taking its course. They are developing natural predators, cutting down on the numbers, but you might say they're still a little bit out of hand for the time being.
I'd say so.
All right, we've been telling you for a while now about that massive seaweed blob that's headed toward Florida.
Yeah, now scientists are concerned about flesh-eating bacteria that can be in that seaweed washing up on our beaches. CBS News Miami's Anna McAllister stopped by Hollywood Beach this evening and spoke to the experts.
As South Floridians know, there's nothing like a day of enjoying the sun and the sand. But with the beauty of the beach often comes the creepy kelp in the ocean. If you've been to the beach lately, you may have seen more of this stuff, seaweed. And of course, people who go to the beach, they typically like to stay away from it because it's stinky and it's sticky. But now scientists are finding out that there's bacteria in the seaweed that's been washing up on Florida shores, and it could cause serious infections in humans. This bacteria is known as Vibrio vulnificus, and it can be found in decaying seaweed.
It can infect open wounds and cause very serious infections that can become systemic.
The bacteria is flesh-eating and can lead to amputations or intensive care. While infections are typically rare, data from the CDC reveals that 1 in 5 people with this infection can die, sometimes within 48 hours of becoming infected.
The fact that they are present in the seaweed and in higher abundances than they are in the seawater surrounding the seaweed does indicate that there might be a need to monitor.
While infections are rare, it's important to make sure you're doing what you can to stay safe at Florida beaches this summer.
If you have open wounds, that to maybe avoid going to the beach, because even the water or other sources, the sand, sargassum, can be potentially have pathogenic organisms.
For more information on this flesh-eating bacteria and for tips on how you can stay safe on the beach, visit our website, cbsmiami.com. For now, reporting in Hollywood Beach, Anna McAllister, CBS News, Miami.
More than 175 people got sick with norovirus during a recent celebrity cruises sailing. The CDC says more than 150 of the ship's passengers, as well as 25 crew members, reported being ill during a voyage. The agency says the cruise line notified guests of the outbreak and implemented heightened cleaning and disinfection procedures on board. It's the third major norovirus outbreak on celebrity cruises this year.